Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This side it's been Robin. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for the confirmation. So let's start the session. Let me share the screen. Yeah. So let's start the session. So once again, welcome back to Azure Community Technical Event. It's been the Cloud Fundamentals and Certification Program. I hope you can able to see the presentation and audio also it's been clear to you. I request everyone to confirm through the chat option if this is good and you are able to hear me. You can write it on the chat window. Yeah, thank you. So we got a one first confirmation. Okay, great. Yes. So thank you, team. So yes, so happy Friday, everyone. It's been I know it's all are it's Salma look like there is an issue with your side. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Bit of background noise. Okay, let me check that. Yes. Now I hope it's been all good. I've been enabled noise cancellation. Okay, so let's maybe the great. So thank you all. Thank you everyone. Appreciate your effort and time for joining this session. I hope all are joined our WhatsApp group. So there yesterday we had a nice discussion about different certification program based on a job role and wind noise. Okay, let me check it. I hope it's been better now. I was using a fan on the back end, so but I have been enabled. Yeah, enabled a noise cancellation. Okay, anyway, so yeah. Now, yesterday, all this day was we were discussing about cloud computing, and we had a discussion about a cloud certification programs. Yesterday, we focused basically on the understanding which certification is being suited for you based on your job role, and we tried to give you all the input on the certification path. So, not clear today. Is there any issue with the audio? Because I can see few comments. Surag, if you can help me to confirm that.
Uh, I don't uh, I don't think I faced that problem.
Okay,
It
one second,
sounds
one
fine
second.
to me. Yes, they're saying like audio is fine now. Hey guys, Robin is having some technical issue. He will be uh, joining shortly. Just sorry for the silence. It was that I think I was waiting for Robin to come back. So he just informed that he is having some technical issue. He will fix it and come right back away. And yeah, let us give him a 5 minutes to fix it, and then we can get back to the session.
HYT. So unexpected uh, internet outage in my place. Audio has been clear, no? His audio has been better, no?
No, I think it's uh, some, but it is audible, but it's
Yeah,
a
it's like
little bit.
so like it's what happened. Like I have a two laptop is been connected. I connected my headset into the second one, and I was enabled mic in the first one. That's the reason it's
Oh,
confusion happened.
so
Sorry,
there
so
was like audio sound was different than
exactly.
previously. So
Yes, sir. Because like I was in a perception like I've been connected into this mic. So there's a Friday, not so team. So I was in a Friday mode. So thank you, team. So sorry for this in between technical issue. Now let's go back to the topic now. Yeah. Now I hope Darren's been better now. Now yesterday we were discussing more about the certification part. So we understood which certification has been matching for you, and we had a discussion about what are the certification Microsoft is been issued or Microsoft is been organized. Now, load shedding. Okay, it's not AC, it's having a load shedding. Okay, yeah. Now, let's come to the technical part of this. So, yesterday we had a discussion about why should you learn cloud computing. Then we had a discussion about like your certification path. Then we had a discussion about uh, the certification roadmap about where you need to start your where you need to start your certification path. This is the discussion we had. Now I'm moving to the technical side of this event today. Now we understood the cloud certification. Now let's start with a technical topic. It's called Microsoft on-premises traditional one. So where we need to, yes, this is the topic we are starting. Now all the discussion which we were doing from yesterday, it's about a cloud computing. Now before moving to a cloud, let's try to understand what are the type of the traditional deployment model or a infrastructure has been currently has been available in your organization. I hope all are able to see this presentation, because I can see there is a comment is been on the chat, because in my secondary monitor I can able to uh, come to that point. Now all your pending question you can post it on the WhatsApp group. We'll answer it that. Yes. Now before moving to a cloud, let's try to understand what is the type of the infrastructure currently it's been available in your data center or a data room before moving to the cloud side. Now, if you're taking an existing model, there are two type of the infrastructure currently you can able to see in the customer places. Now, before moving to a cloud, we are trying to understand what are the model currently it's been available in the customer places. The first model, basically it's known as on-premises solution. It's basically it's able to, it's known as a CPE or a on-premises solution. In few books or a few articles, you may be able to see this is being referred with another term that's called CPE. That's called customer premises equipment. Or the second type of the infrastructure currently you can able to see in the customer places that basically known as a colocation services or a colo services. So right now we are discussing about type of the IT infrastructure currently it's been available in the organization. So you can able to see there are three model right now it's been available. One is known as a on-premises one. Second one is been known as a colocation one. And the third one, the topic right now we are discussing, that's called a cloud infrastructure. Now let's try to understand what is the difference between on-premises and where your colocation is been coming to picture and what is the use of a cloud infrastructure. Now I'm taking into a organization data center. I hope all of us already familiar with a term called data center or a data room, right? So what your understanding is someone is saying like a data center or a data room. Can you comment it on the chat window? So let's try to understand before moving to a cloud, what are the existing infrastructure currently it's been available in the organization. So if someone is being like it's called data center or a data room, what is your understanding about it? Can you comment it on a chat? What is a data center or a data room? Any idea? So technically, if you're seeing like when you go back to your office or your college or at school or it's your office, you may be seeing like in your office, you may be using n number of workstations, right? You may be having your laptop or your friend's laptop, or you may be having a different workstation or a servers may be hosted. Finally, all this is being connected to a centralized place. In your office, you may be seeing a dedicated room for a centralized infrastructure. Inside that room, you may be able to see there is a servers or network devices or a firewall or a different product. Maybe it's been available, right? Basically, that's generally known as a data center or data rooms. So from this room, it's been centralizedly managing the entire infrastructure for your organization. So this data center may be having old router or a network devices, or you may be having all other services also may be running. Maybe inside this room, you may be having a DHCP or a DNS or Active Directory or a mail server. All information may be hosted from this location. So in a technical or a symbol uh, uh, term, I can say this is the room where it's been controlling the entire office infrastructure. I hope all are agreeing with this point, right? Any other opinion or a view on about the data center or a data room? I can see few people have been commented on the chat. It's been like a space user for a holding a data or few space it's been holding for information. Yes, many comments it's been I can able to see on the right side. Now, other than that, you have any other different opinion about this? Or can you comment what are the components are using a data center or a data room? Can you comment it on that? Who has been commenting more device, they will get a surprise gift. Let's see. So what are the components is been, yeah, we don't need to go for copy paste. What your view and your thought about this topic, paste it on the chat. If you're taking a data center or a data room, what are the components are available? Can you comment it on the chat? Right now, I'm not in a position to enable mic to everyone because we have a large audience. So in case if you are enabling a mic, so that may get a lot of background noises and also uh, right now that's the reason we are not enabling a mic. So we need to use the chat window for that. Yes. So I got a one command like a servers and routers is included. Other than servers and router, what are the other components we have? It can be firewall, or it can be rack, or it can be physical firewalls, or a physical switches, or a hub, or a router. All these equipments is being included. Now, my first question, where this device is being hosted? Can you comment it on the chat? Power supply is, obviously power is needed. You need a cooling facility. Now, my question is, who will be the owner for this one? In your office, if you have all these devices are available, who is the owner for this one? Can you comment it on the chat? The company, okay? Yes, database admins, the company, or basically the company, not the admin. Basically, who is been responsible for that building, or who is been the owner of that one? They are responsible, or they are the owner for that one. So if you're seeing this existing data center or a data room, owner is respective company or the responsible for company. Now, my second question, where this resource or this asset is been hosted? Hosted means that where this product is been or this infrastructure is been configured. In which facility? Is it a customer facility or a admin facility, or it's been a different vendor facility? Can you comment it on the chat? It can be basically the admin facility. Admin facility means that where is the customer is being available in the same facility, the servers or a data room is been hosted. So right now we got a 2 points here. The company has been responsible for purchasing the hardware. Second point, we understood it's been hosted in the same facility itself, right? So admin has been responsible for this, and second one, it's been hosted in the customer place. Now we understood there is some investment we are doing, right? The admin or the company has been doing some investment that basically known as a capital cost. Because if I need to run a server, I need to have a servers to be available, right? I need to purchase that. Who will be purchasing that? This has been purchased by the respective company or a college or who will need this infrastructure. So this is basically known as CapEx. What is the term generally we are using? That's called a capital expenditure. The amount of the money you are spending for purchasing a server or for bringing your server inside your data center is basically known as a CapEx cost. I hope you got my point, right? Right now we learned 3 points. One, it's been like for bringing a data center or a data room in a current scenario, there is a capex cost is needed, and data center is the place. It's been hosted in the customer premises, and it's been holding with a lot of server or a infrastructure or a IT infrastructure, which include server, rack, or it's been power supply or a firewall, or it can be any devices. Who has been purchasing that? It's been purchased by the company, and who has been responsible for managing that? The respective company itself. Now, all of us know periodically I may have to go for a technology refreshment also, right? Right now, you may be like in your college days or in your school days, you may be using Windows XP or a Windows Vista operating system. Right now, this operating system is got changed. Right now, you may be using Windows 11 or a Windows 10. And you may be remembering like in your school days or a college days, we were running a 512 MB of RAM in your laptop. Now the laptop is been running with a 16 GB or a 32 GB. Still we are thinking, or like there is no performance, right? So technically speaking, every year or every time, all the data center or a data room available in your organization need a technology refreshment. What do you mean technology refreshment? We may have to upgrade your CPU, or we may have to change the CPU, or we may have to plan a lot of physical infrastructure changes on the system. Now my question is, who is responsible for this? It's been responsibility of an admin, and it's been responsibility of a company also, right? So we'll be responsible for that. Now there are some situation. I have a data center has been available in my organization. Now I have a server has been hosted. This is my Active Directory server. Now one day morning this server has been not booting, or the server has been down due to power or some X or Y issue. One of my server is been down due to X or Y issue. There's a power issue, or due to some outages, or due to some network issue. My server is been not powering on. So obviously, the business or a organization may be looking for a two facility. One is called a HA. You may be heard about a term called HA. That basically known as a high availability. Or there is another term generally we are using, that's called DR, disaster recovery. What do you mean disaster recovery or availability? In case if a server or a data center is down, we need to bring that service from another data center or another device which is being hosted in the same data center or in a different data center. So if you're taking a data room or a data center, we are responsible for technology refreshment, we are responsible for high availability, and we are responsible for disaster recovery also. So in a nutshell, or in a summary, I can say like in a data center or a data room, or in a on premises scenario, the right technical word we are using for is called on premises one. So in a on premises scenario, we are responsible for all this activity, including the purchase of a server, DR, or availability, or a technology refreshment. As Darren mentioned, we are responsible for a backup also, right? In case if both the servers are down, and after some time the customer is saying like, hey Darren, or it's been Devi, or it's been Robin, I need a backup, I need to restore for my backup. Who is the responsible person? It's been responsibility of me, or it's admin, right? So in a on-premises scenario, the entire data center layers, including the power, and in your data center there's a cooling facility, or a temperature management, or the physical security is needed. End-to-end management is being done by the company itself. This is basically known as on-premises data center, or on-premises infrastructure. So I'm just given in a summary. These are the few points so far we have been discussed. We are responsible for all the equipments management. That's the first point. And the second point, it's been like all the equipments inside the data center has been owned by the company, or it's been the who has been responsible for that. And the third point, it's been like uh, we are responsible for everything in the data center. And third point, it's been like if there is any new equipment or a servers needs to be added, we are responsible for that. And obviously, as I said, technology refreshment or redundancy, all it's been a scope of respective owner or a on-premises one. Before moving to the next slide, any question from your side? If you are able to follow, or if you are clear, I request you to confirm this update through in a chat message. If you're comfort, and if you don't have any question, you can have a update on the chat window. So waiting for the input from the team. Yes, thank you. What is a capex cost? I'm coming to that point in a detailed way. There's a next slide. I'll have a detailed discussion about capex. What? Yes. Capex, we'll have a different discussion. Okay, don't worry, Adi. So I'm coming to that point. So in a detail, I'll be using. Right now, you can understand that's called a capex. It stands for capital expenditure, the amount of the money which you are putting or investing for purchasing the hardware inside your infrastructure. That's called uh, capex. How about OPEX? Yes, coming to CAPEX and OPEX part now. I'll be coming to that slide. Now, let's move to the next portion. Now, if you understood this data center scenario based on the performance, this is the additional information to you. Now, based on a performance of your organization, based on how data center is working, uh, the classification is being done based on the performance, right? If you're taking a data center, depends upon how much uh, uptime you are getting, how your fault tolerance is being configured, or how this service credibility is being configured, and depends upon the service cost or a operational sustainability, or how the cooling or a power infrastructure is being configured. Based on this uptime, um, organizations or a data center or a data rooms are being classified into different levels. You may be seeing that this code as a tier 1, tier 2, or a tier 3, or a tier 4. Now, based on the classification, like how much downtime you're taking in each data center. So based on that, generally you'll be having a different classification is being done. Now, if you're taking a tier 1, this basically you can able to use. It's like if you have a small organization, small companies or a startup organization we have, then that kind of a situation you can go for a tier 1 data center. Now, in a year, the server will be down only maximum 28 hours only. 28 hours only the server will be down, and basically you will not have any power supply or additional power supply, or a UPS is been available for that. So this kind of a mode, it's generally known as it's a tier 1 data center. Now when it is coming to tier 2 or a tier 3 or a tier 4, additional power or a cooling facility will be provided. Now if you are taking a tier 3, additional to your whatever existing device, you will have one additional resource. Like if you're using a tier 3, along with your whatever device it's been available, you will have additional one device will be available. So with the help of that, you will be getting a additional um, um, source will be available. So n plus 1 is the model generally we are using. Now, if you're using a tier 4, this is where your high mission critical operations you have, that kind of a situation you can go for the tier 4. Basically like a QN, or it's like a few books you may be able to see like a n plus 1. So additionally, there is some additional power or a supply will be available for providing a availability to organization. Like wherever you need a mission critical operation, that kind of a situation will be using for a tier 4, and a tier 3 or a tier 2 you'll have additional power also it's been available. Now in the previous slide we understood like when you're using a collocation, or when you're using on premises one, end-to-end activity has been handled by us. Now when you're using a collocation facility, now if you're taking a data center, you may be having a requirement of a power or a cooling facility, right? Now, if you're taking a collocation mode or a collocation mode of operation, power and cooling facilities been not handled by us. Now, I have a requirement like I need to start a data center in the Canada region. Unfortunately, I don't have any office over there. Now, customer want to expand their business to Canada or Switzerland or Kenya or it's Nigeria. I don't have office over there. So I can connect with some of the vendor who has been available in the market. There is a different organizations are available in the market. They will be able to provide space to us. What do you mean space? It's called like you can connect to any of this vendor I be mentioned. They will be providing a facility like this. That's called cabin. You may be seeing like a cabin for data center. You may be able to see this kind of a space you will be getting from the vendor cabin, or it's been, I can say it's a cage. You may be able to see this kind of a space I'll be getting from the vendor. I can connect to the vendor who will be available in the market. I can able to see, I can inform them saying that I need a space for this many number of servers. This is the facility I need. So I need to pay the money for the facility or a cool or it's been a power. So we need to pay to that vendor. Now, I got a question on the chat, like who provide the different tiers? There is an institute is been available called Uptime Institute. They generally it's been provided this standards, this organization. Generally, they will be responsible or they used to provide this kind of ranking. That is called Uptime Institute. Uh, I have a handy link. It's been available with me. You can just refer this one. So this is the institute. Generally, they are responsible for, or it's made this ranking system. You can able to see on the chat. I've been pasted. Now coming to the collocation one. In case if I need to expand my organization to X or Y location, I can connect with any of this vendor like digital RRT, that's called digital reality, is the organization. I can say that I can connect with them and say I need a facility for my server. So they will be responsible for cabinets. Cabinets you may be already knowing, or they'll be responsible for the physical security through the cages, and they will be providing the power and a cooling or a physical security, or they will be providing a 19-inch or a 23-inch of rack facility. Now I need to pay the money to them, saying that end of the month, I need to pay the operation cost. That's basically known as a OPEX. So end of the month, I need to pay rent to that particular vendor. So these are the few vendors you can available in the internet or can able to available in the market who has been responsible for providing this kind of a solution. Now Equinix, it's been a California based organization. Now if you're searching the internet, you may be able to see 11 percentage of the collocation is been holding by the this firm. And DRT is a Texas based organization. This is a Texas based organization, so they holding almost 8 percentage of the market share of collocation one. Now you can able to see this China Telecom. It's been China, it's been basically it's a Beijing based organization. And you may be able to see another Texas based organization is called Cyrus one. This is a Texas based organization. And you may be able to see like a global switch, it's been UK based organization. And you may be able to, there are different vendors like a KDDA or a 21VN. There are many vendors who's been available in the organization or in the market who is been providing this kind of a facility. So end of this session, you need to understand, in case if you want to expand your servers or a rack or any kind of um, data center into any of these organization, we can able to um, connect with this vendor, and with the help of them, you'll be able to uh, connect to, or they'll be able to expand this organization. So this is the way generally the collocation facility or the infrastructure has been working. Now in both the mode, in the collocation or a on premises, in a collocation one, the vendor has been responsible only for the management of the facility or a power. But if you're taking a the entire infrastructure which is been using inside that is been completely holding by us. That means the server or a rack or the configuration or operating system or the firewall, all this configuration is been handled uh, by us only. The collocation vendor will be responsible only for power, cooling, or power facility. They'll be responsible only for this. So this is an important point you need to remember. So all your capex cost, all the server investment cost, everything is been responsibility of ours. Now the vendor will be providing a network connectivity from the data center to the our facility. That is a point we have. So technically speaking, when you're comparing a collocation or it's comparing this on-premises one, the capex cost is been ours, and whatever charge we are doing, that's called a opex cost. And equipments or the typically the amount which you are able to assign or it's able to uh, do, or whatever technology refreshment which generally it's needed on the collocation one, this typically it's required a technology refreshment. And even though if you're using a collocation one, backup or a technology refreshment, everything it's been a responsibility of the user or a customer. Now when you're doing a comparison between on premises or a collocation one, the time which you want to deploy, or the purchase when which you are doing, everything is the responsibility of the user itself. So in case if I need to host a server in a co-location one, the same procedure which I was doing in the past, the same thing needs to be done here. Now, any question from on the co-location or on-premises one? Whatever slide right now we are seeing, we'll be providing that slides, and the WhatsApp group will be on the Discord link. We'll be uploading this slide. Now, any question from anyone? So I hope all are been joined on the WhatsApp group. So in case if it is not there, so above in the meeting link, we've been provided that. So because I'll be using, or we'll be using that for a first point of connection. Discord and the WhatsApp group is the first point of connection point. Now, that's about the comparison between on-premises and a co-location one. If you're good, we can move to the next topic. It's called server virtualization. Okay, great. So next topic is about called server virtualization. Any idea or have you heard about a server virtualization product, or it is called heard about any told uh, server virtualization? Let me give you a scenario. You maybe heard about a concept called virtualization. So your cloud computing has been working with the help of a concept called server virtualization. Yes. Now, right now you are using a laptop, right? Now, if you're taking your laptop, I'm just giving a simple scenario of your laptop. If you're taking a laptop, you have a physical device has been available with you. Now, on top of your physical device, what we have done, we have installed an operating system, right? That's called Windows 10 or Windows 11 or a Mac operating system, or depends upon your interest or depends upon the organization interest, right? If your organization is using a Mac or a Windows 10, you maybe got a Windows 10 or a Mac laptop. So right now, if you're seeing this laptop, on top of your hardware or top of your system, the operating system is installed. This is the way it's been the workstations are working. Now, when you go back to your infrastructure or in a data center, now I'm going to request from a customer saying that the customer is needed a SQL server. In a normal typical scenario, we may purchase one Dell or a Cisco UCS or a HP or any other vendor server, right? So we'll be taking a server. Now, on top of it, for purchasing a server, it may take a week time or a month time. So there is a cost is involved. Second, then after delivering this server, we may have to do mounting in a rack or data center. I need to do a cabling or I need to mount this server. Then once it is done, I may have to involve different teams, network administrators or a Windows team or a Linux team or a DNS team or Active Directory team or a firewall team. I need to create a group chat. Then I need to start working with them. Then once it is done, on top of the operating system, on top of the hardware, I will install operating system. On top of that, I'll install your SQL application. Now, if you're seeing here, this hardware maybe came with a different configuration. Generally, whenever you're placing an order, hardware may be coming with a 120 GB RAM or 1 TB hard disk or more than 1 TB hard disk or highest configuration. Now, this is the first requirement. Now, we got another customer also came and saying that they need an Oracle database. So I purchase another server, same exercise or same work I've been initiated. I've been hosted this server. So similar way, I got 200 servers is been hosted in my organization. Now, from a cloud, from an admin point of view, can you comment on the chat? what are the challenges or what are the concerns we have here, right? I hope you got a point here, right? Now we are in a customer place. Customer has been holding 200 servers, physical servers. Can you comment it on the chat? What are the concerns or what are the challenges generally we are going to face in this kind of a situation? 200 servers, it's been available in organizations. Now, administrator point of view, what are the issues you are going to see here? Can you comment it on the chat window? So thank you, team. Yes, so a lot of input is being pasted on the chat. Yes. Now, if you're evaluating this overall scenario here, one has been the utilization. I can take it's called utilization, right? I have a 200 servers, it's been available. But if you are calculating the utilization of my server, it's maybe coming around 2% to 5% only. Now, second one is been like, as all of us has been mentioned on a chat, space issue or a cost issue or a maintenance issue or additional power or a cooling or a data center issues or access control, right? Because I need to have a clear access control policy needs to be available in the organization because I need to ensure that who can enter into that, who can access that server. So I need to have a clear idea about that. Now, we need to have some kind of a mechanism or we need to have or technically if you're seeing here the ender utilization of my server is going to be only 2 to 5% only. Now this was the situation in the past, like the utilization of the server was it's been very less. That's the reason people came with a concept called hypervisor or a concept called virtualization. It's called a virtualization or is a term called hypervisor. If you are using here hypervisor or virtualization, it's kind of a technology. As I said, we are virtually slicing your hardware. Means I have a server. Previously, only one operating system was using inside that, and the total capacity of this hardware was 20 GB. Now, the source or the operating system was using only 1 GB. 19 GB was not utilized. So, if I'm using a virtualization is a technology. I'll be using a software that's called hypervisor. What is the software name? It's called hypervisor. So this hypervisor has been basically two mode you can able to see in the market. This hypervisor is a program. It can be available or it's been can be configured in a two mode. One is known as a type 1 hypervisor and second one is known as a type 2, or you may be able to see type 1 or a type 2 hypervisor. Now, what is the difference between this type 1 and a type 2 hypervisor? This basically like the way it's been configured. Now, in previously, you may be seeing on top of the hardware, the operating system was installed, right? Now, if you're using a type 1 hypervisor, You have a physical server is available. This is your physical box. First, we will install this software that's called Type 1 Hypervisor. You maybe heard about this product in the market. You maybe heard about a different product available in the market. I can give you a few names. You maybe heard about a product called Microsoft Hyper-V, right? You maybe heard about a product called Microsoft Hyper-V. Or you maybe heard about a product called VMware vSphere. Or you maybe heard it's called EXI. Or you maybe heard about another product called Zen or a Citrix server, right? It's called Zen or a Citrix server. Or you maybe heard about another product called RHEV. It's called RHEV. It's called Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization. Or you maybe heard about a product called KVM. So these are the different vendors who has been providing this virtualization technology. It's basically on top of your hardware, we'll be installing this hypervisor product. After that, virtually you can able to slice your hardware. It's called VM. You can able to create multiple VM. VM stands for virtual machine. It's not a physical one. Okay. This basically like you're not going with a knife or some kind of a tools and breaking your server. No. With the help of this hypervisor, you are virtually you are slicing your hardware. Yes, the product generally we are using, it's called a KVM, Hyper-V, or called vSphere, or it's called Zen or RHEV. These are the kind of a software or a product which is available in the market. With the help of that, you will be able to slice your hardware. Now, this is one mode of operation. Right now, if you are seeing here, in this case, on top of your operating system, directly we have been installed this hypervisor. Now, I have another mode of operation also. That's basically we are not using this kind of a mode for a production scenarios. Generally, we'll be installing an operating system first. Then on top of that, hypervisor is been installed. There are many products available in the market who has been providing this one. You maybe heard about a product called VMware Workstation. There are a few products which generally we are using in the market called VMware Workstation. Or you maybe heard about a product called VMware Fusion, or you maybe heard about a product called VirtualBox, or it's called a Solaris Zone. This kind of many products are available in the market, which is been allowing you to install on top of a operating system, and you can able to install a VM. Now, if you're using this one, if your operating system is been corrupted, the entire stack will be down. So this generally we are using in case if you want to go for any kind of a training, or in case if you want to go for any kind of a OS management, or it's like in case of you need to have a any kind of OS management, for example, like um, uh, any lab or something. If you need that kind of a situation, you can able to use this one. Now that's about the virtualization part. Now, this is a self-study topic for you. I'll share you a couple of documents related to that because our session has been more into the cloud side. For your information, this basically like server virtualization is the technology cloud, all the cloud providers are using on in the back end. Now, if you're seeing here, this is the topic right now it's been discussed. Like you have a type 1 hypervisor is available. This is basically known as in a few books you may be knowing as it's called bare metal operating system, or in a type 2 is been available. This is called as a hosted architecture. Basically, if you're seeing here on top of the hardware, hypervisor is installed. On top of that, your guest operating system installed. And if you're seeing here, hardware first on top of the operating system, then hypervisor is installed. So it's basically known as a server virtualization. Now, this is a self-study topic for you. You need to have a discussion, or you need to find out what is a type 1 or a type 2. A couple of a study material related to type 1 and type 2. End of the session, I will be uploading it on a WhatsApp group. So you can available join that group so that I'll share you a few reading material or a self-study material. I'm pausing here for taking all your questions. Now, attendance already only one time registration has been sufficient. In case if you're not done a registration, Mr. Sudagi has been posted a office link on the chat window. So click on that and post your attendance. This for getting the certificate, everything. Yes, yes. Example for a type 1, exactly, you're right. You can able to VMware, Citrix or Microsoft. These all are few examples of type 1. Now, any other question has been, yes, it's already posted. Okay. Now, any question related to virtualization? If you're good, we can move to the next slide. If you're good, can you comment it on the chat? Thank you. So few comments we got. This comments is for ensuring that we both are on the same page. Matthew, as I mentioned in the last slide, so it depends upon how your hypervisor is being installed. That is the difference between type 1 and type 2. Matthew, if you can see this screen, in the type 1, you may be observed like on top of a hardware, your virtualization software has been directly, it's been copied or it's been installed. In a type 2, on top of your hardware, your operating system installing first, then your hypervisor is being installed. I hope Matthew, it's been clear to you now. So thank you, team. I hope it's been a virtualization part has been clear to everyone. Now we'll do one thing. We'll take a 5 minutes break. After break, we'll move to the cloud part and we'll complete about a capex and opex also. So almost an hour now. So let's do a small refreshment and come back. It's a 5 minutes break. Okay. So sharp 5 minutes. Yes. So let's take a 5 minutes break. I hope all are back. I can see a couple of comments on the chat. Can we get over this press? Yes, definitely. We are happy to provide these materials and slides. Not by email, because adding an individual email and sending. So let's join that WhatsApp group where we can able to upload, and the Discord link also it's been available where we'll be uploading this slide. It's a serious problem, and it seems like we are going to live with it forever. I didn't get what is the shoot. Can you rephrase that question? So it's like the last comment. What is the issue you're facing? So we took a break. It's been like because almost an hour. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm not really sure what happened. Maybe he is in middle of something. He got something to be doing. Uh, Let us give him a few minutes. Sorry all for the silence. We have a speakers having something in his hand to be doing, so something important to be doing. So he'll be back after he's doing it. Let us give him 5 minutes, so then we can just get started. There is no other problems. He'll be coming back in 5 minutes. I think there is something important to be doing right now. So yeah. No, the training is not over yet. We have almost an hour still left. So yeah.
Hey Surya, it's been my laptop is got crashed. Sorry. Now let's go back to this slide. We were discussing about a topic called virtualization. We understood there is a two mode of virtualization is been uh, available. One is called a type 1 and second one is called the type 2. So if you're taking a cloud technology, in the backend, it's been working with the help of a concept called virtualization. So in the next slide, I'll be sharing you how cloud has been using this server virtualization topic. Now, in the previous slide, we had a discussion about a two finance term. One is called a capex, and second one is called a opex. Capex stands for capital expenditure. OPEX stands for another term called operational expenditure. So that is the expansion of this word. So capital expenditure means the amount of the money or the investment which you are doing on in a physical infrastructure. Because when you're building a server or when you're building a data center or when you're building a data room, there is a many physical infrastructure is being required, as we already understood, like a physical servers or a rack or a router or a physical switch or a firewall, or you maybe need a resource also for managing this one, right? So the amount of the investment you are doing on in a for bringing or building a physical infrastructure, it's basically known as, it's called capital expenditure. Now that investment is known as a capex. So if you're taking in normal data room operations, you may be able to see the cost or a storage or its a network cost or a backup or an organization or a data center. So these are all investment you're doing from your side. So it's called a storage, or it's the investment which you are using, or it's the amount of the money which you're using for a server or a storage or a network. This is basically known as a capex cost. So the initial investment you are doing on in a capex part. Now, when it is coming on in a OPEX side, OPEX is basically like when you have a data center or a data room available, and there is a lot of product it's been using, right? You have a software or you have a license or you have a resource or a technical resource. You may be paying the electricity bill, or it's been any operational related cost. This few example is been given on the slide. This has been considered under a category of a OPEX cost. OPEX stands for the amount of the money you are using for making your service has been live, or it's been ensuring you are providing for bringing or the service into the data center. So that's basically known as a operational expenditure. Now, if you're calculating or if you're seeing this, what are the common uh, resource is been coming under the OPEX. It's called like a license cost or a billing cost or a technical person or this investment. It's basically known as called a OPEX cost. Now, these are the two financial terms generally we are using in a cloud computing. You may be in whenever you're going on a cloud a product or a service, you may be hearing these terms called a capex cost, or you may be heard it's called OPEX cost. Now, let's go to the first assessment today. This is the first question for you. ABC, you can able to see this is the first question for you related to the deployment part. You can post your answer on the chat window. You can mark your answer on the chat window. So this question has been related to a data center tier 3 one. In a tier 3 one, how many generators you need? So this is the question. So if you're referring the last slide when we had a discussion about a data center, you may be able to see like 1, 2, 3, and yes. So this question is says like you are in a tier 3 data center. Currently, the customer is looking for a 5 data center. So in a 5 generator is needed. What is the typically how many generator we need to implement in a data center? So tier 3 means that number of the requirement plus one additional needs to be configured, right? If you are referring the previous slide, you can able to see you. This is the next question. Second was question was related to the capex part. If you are seeing here, like you have a capital expenditure, and which of this capital expenditure is being not included here? So obviously the power or SLA or all it's been part of a OPEX one. So already we understood, like if you're using a co-location facility, the servers, it needs to be handled by us, right? So this has been the capex cost. So there's a capex cost is been involved, and so answer for this question is been capex cost. Now that's about the co-location, or that's about the on-premises deployment part. Now let's move to the next module here. That basically is known as, it's called defining a cloud. It's been like how cloud is been defined here. It's been like called right now we are in an organization. Now they are decided like they will be migrating their all applications into a cloud infrastructure. So end of this session, you've been assigned with this project. Now, before migrating or it's been upgrading your entire infrastructure, you need to ensure that, or what are the components is being available on the Microsoft portal, or what are the resource or a terminology is being needed, uh, that need to have a clear clarity about that. It's not that you know the AZ900 or a 104. You cannot go and upgrade, or you cannot go and migrate into a Microsoft Azure or any of the cloud service provider. So basically, it's been using, it's based on like how the infrastructure is being configured, or it's been like what are the components is being really needs to be considered during this migration. That's the important point needs to be covered here. So right now we understood there is a infrastructure is being available, that's called a cloud. Let's try to understand what is a cloud computing. till now we understood what is the on-premises one. We understood like how collocation is being one. Right now you can able to see there are different models. It's been available here. So it's called what are the different models been available, or how this needs to be handled on the cloud side. Now, if you're seeing a cloud computing, now if you're seeing a on-premises or it's you're seeing in a collocation one, the entire server is been handled by us, right? It's been purchased, or it's been the configuration, or it's been like implementation or a monitoring. Everything was been handled by the uh, customer itself. Now I'm giving a scenario here. Now, right now you're sitting in your home. In front of you, or there is a light or a switch or a fan. There are some electrical components are there. Now, the moment when you press um, uh, if you're switching your this power button, or it's been like if you're flipping a switch, you are getting a electricity, right? Now, whenever you're using electricity, we are not worried about how this electricity is being generated, or what is the type of the mechanism or a technology it's been using on in a backend, right? Every month we are paying amount of the you've been used on the unit, and you're paying that money to that particular vendor, right? That is the way it's been generally the electricity payment we used to do. I'm giving another scenario. Now, in your country, you may be using a taxi facility called Uber, Ola, right? This kind of a facility you may be using, right? Have you used the facility, tax facility called Uber? If yes, can you just comment it on in a chat? I'm not doing any promotion of that taxi facility here. I'm just giving a scenario, an example here. Now, I need to go to my office from my home. I have two options we have, right? One option is like I can use this is my home. I need to go to my office. I can use my own car, then I can go to office, right? Now, if I'm using my own car, what are the challenges you have? I may have to worry about, first of all, I need a driving, right? So obviously I need a driving. Second one, it's been like insurance, taxi and tax, or it's been like a fuel charge. All it's been a headache of me, right? Now, if I'm using a Uber service, right now all of us are using, right? In case if we need to go to airport or a, bus station, or it's been like office, or it's like a park, uh, you need to book a using an app. You need to book. Now, the amount of the distance you've been traveled, end of the trip, you need to pay the amount to that particular vendor, right? The particular vendor, you need to pay the amount. Now, second thing, it's been like so. You may be observed like if you're using a Uber or it's like a Ola facility, what is the mode you're doing? There is a term generally we are using called pay as you go model, right? Once your request is been over, you're paying the amount into um, you are paying the amount to the particular vendor, right? So yes, exactly, right? You're the amount end of this one, you are paying the amount to a particular vendor. Now, if you're seeing here, if you're taking this organization, or if you're taking Uber charge, so based on the travel or based on this mode, you are using this pay as you go mode of a concept. So like you are using like the pay of the pay as you go mode kind of a model you're using. So with the help of that, you're paying whatever the consumption you have that's been used this one, right? Yes. Now we bring the similar kind of a mode or a similar kind of operations in your IT infrastructure also. I'm just giving a scenario. In your home, there is one event is happening. Now you have a requirement of 20 chairs. One option generally what we are doing, we'll be connecting to a event management companies, and that's for a 2 days or a 3 days. You will be taking resource for a rent. Now, same kind of a mode you are following here also. Now I have a project has been coming for my organization. This project has been running for a 3 days. Now in a olden days or in a on premises or a co-location one, you are purchasing a server and you are installing and you are configuring. Give me a second. So give me a second. I'm just uploading just something. 1 second. Yes, it can. Yes. So if you're using this kind of a operations, you may be seeing like 3 days or 4 days. I need a project. Uh, Generally, it's been taking a months of a time, or I have to invest a amount on the capex part. Now, if you're having another mode of operation, or it's like if you're using a cloud, you don't need to purchase a hardware here, because in a deployment case, in case if you're using this one, it's been like you need to have a um, purchase when it's been done here. It's like a 3 days, or it's been like or in a 4 days here. You can request Microsoft Azure portal. You can just go to Microsoft Azure portal, and based on your requirement, for example, like you need a 2 TB server with a hardware memory of a 16 GB and Windows operating system, you can just go to a portal, and where you can able to see it's like there is a uh, request is been coming, so you can able to provision that. The term generally we are using, it's called provisioning. So the term generally we are using called provisioning. Now in a previous situation, you may be seeing like I have a customer who came with a request, like they need a SQL server or an Oracle server. Physically, you build the server, and there is a capex or investment is being done. Now, after 3 days, my customer is saying like, "Hey, I don't need this server. My project is been over." So this product or this hardware is been a dead asset for me, right? It's a dead asset for me. Now, but if you're using a cloud, I can able to go to the Microsoft portal. I can able to connect to Microsoft portal. I can easy in a fraction of second. Now, if you can see here, let me connect you to Microsoft portal. Give me a second. I'm just connecting to Microsoft portal. Give me a second. I'm just logging to the portal. Is asking OTP and other details. Give me a second. It's waiting for the OTP from the portal. You may be able to see here. Give me a second. So 1 second. It's been you may be able to see here. It's been getting some Microsoft portal is been behaving odd here. You can able to see here. There is portal is giving some error message. Let me refresh it. Yes, it's been working now. Let me see this code. Now we are in a customer place. Customer has been looking for a server. Now you can able to see it's been right now you can able to see we have been connected to a portal here, right? You can able to see you. Uh, it's not visible. Can you refresh your screen? I've been connected. I am showing a Microsoft portal, right? You can just refresh your screen. Yes. I hope you can able to see. Right now, you may be able to see a screen where something is been written like a portal.azure.com, right? So right now, you can able to see a browser have been connected to Microsoft Cloud Data Center. It's called portal.azure.com. Yes, definitely I can able to zoom it in case if you're not able. Yes. Is it better now? I hope you can able, right? Is it better now? Yes, thank you. So right now we are in a customer place. Customer is saying like, I need a virtual machine. Now in a on-premises or a legacy mode, how this was done, we purchased a server, then it take a week time. We need to upload it on a data center or a data room or a cabling and all activities being done, right? Now, if you're seeing here in a cloud infrastructure, let's try to create a similar kind of a scenario. You may be able to see there's a couple of options able to see here. Don't worry about this option. We have a different session is been coming about the AZ104 session. That time I'll be teaching you how to use this old Windows everything. Right now we are trying to give you fundamentals or a foundation part. Now if you're clicking here, I'm just giving a Azure virtual machine. Now if you can able to see, I'm just giving a some details here. I'm just giving like I need a SQL server. I give a name. Now I'm getting a flexibility here. Right now you can able to see many data center informations are given here. This is basically known as a regions. You know what is region? Microsoft having a data centers across the globe. 140 locations, Microsoft having a data centers. So now I have a user has been coming saying that I need a data center in Middle East. I don't need to worry about the facility. I can just go here and I can select a country called Qatar. For example, like I need to select a server in Qatar, Middle East. I selected. I can able to configure that. Now I have all the users are connected from Switzerland. I can go to the particular country and I can able to select. So if you're using cloud service provider or if you're using this cloud infrastructure, we are getting a flexibility to host the infrastructure based on the customer availability. Now I have all users from a East US data center or East US location. I don't need to place my data center in a Nigeria or a Kenya or any country. For example, like all my users are from Kenya. I have option to host my data center here. I can just come here and I can select the country called Kenya or but South Africa or what the country. For example, like a South African NOS have been selected. So if all my users are from South Africa, I can select the nearest geography. So that's called a region. Now we'll have a different detailed session about that, how regions are selected, how the price tag is been coming. We have a detailed session is coming. Right now we are discussing about a term called uh, cloud computing. Right now, if you're seeing here, I've been connected to Microsoft portal and I said, you can able to see you. I will just given a review and a create, right? Now, if you can able to see here, I just been review and create, just then a create this one. Now you can able to see you. You can able to see in the notification or a bell icon. There is a deployment or a or event or a detail is been coming here, right? You can able to see deployment. It's been coming here. Now, if you can able to see here, the deployment is in a progress. How much time is generally it's been take? for a provisioning a server. So right now, whatever exercise we are done, that's called a provisioning of a server, right? Now I got a request from a customer. Now I have been uh, configured based on my requirement, the size or a, which data center or a regions I need. I've been enabled this one. Now you can able to see it's hardly it's took or it's been taking a 2 to 3 minutes. Right now you can able to see this deployment is in a progress. Deployment you can able to see here. Deployment is in a progress. So right now you can able to see this deployment or in a provisioning is in a progress state. You may be able to see this, David, like there is a screen. Yes, right now you may be able to see there is a message is got like deployment is been completed. So you may be observed here. It's been like a hardly took 2 to 3 minutes of a time for a deploying a server, right? If you go here now, you can just go to connect these machines, right? You can able to see SQL server. Now, if you go to a computer and give this IP address, you will be able to connect it to that. So it's hardly took 2 to 3 minutes time. Now, if you're using in a existing on-premises or a legacy one, it will take at least a week time for a deployment. See how fast it is, right? Very fast, it can able to deploy. Now, the moment the customer is saying like, I don't need this server, I need to just select it here. I need to just press a button called delete. Whenever I'm saying like, I don't need this server, I need to just press delete. I can easy for decommission also. The term generally we are using is called decommissioning. So whenever the customer is saying like, I don't need that, it's easy for me to decommission. Now, in a previous situation, if I purchase my server, it's been that asset is been owned by me. The entire asset is been cost to me also, right? But if you're seeing here, uh, whenever the customer required a server, I can provision it. And the second one is been like I can able to decommission also. Now, I know you may be getting a question here, how these charges will be applied here. Now, generally, this is the charges are applied based on how many minutes we have used this resource. The technical term, generally we are using it's called resource. The technical term instead of using a VM or a X or Y, we'll be using a term called resource. Right now, you can able to see virtual machine is got delete. So how much time I've been used? I have used only 2 minutes. So I need to pay only the rented cost for that particular VM. So 2 minutes I have used, I need to pay the amount of 2 minutes to this particular vendor. So it's been easy for me, right? So whenever I have a requirements of a, uh, I have a, I have a request or I have a request of its resource. It's called a provisioning or a decommissioning. I can able to configure it. So this is the way it's been working on a cloud computing. Now, in it technically, when it is coming to a cloud computing, you don't need to say something like cloud is something like it's been hosted in somewhere. No, basically this has been hosted inside cloud service provider data center. What is the data center is generally known as? This is basically known as a term called region. It's the term is called region. So in a region or it's in a data center, uh, this its facility has been hosted. Now, what is the advantage here? When you are using this one, basically we are not purchasing a hardware or we are not purchasing a device. Instead of that, you are using a term or it's called renting. You're renting a resource from that particular cloud provider. Now I have a requirement of SQL server. I'll be connecting to Microsoft and I am taking a resource for a rent. I'm saying like I need a configuration of 1 TB RAM or I need a resource of 4 GB RAM, or this is the configuration I need. So now based on my consumption, I'll be using kind of a pay as you go model. Based on the consumption, this needs to be worked as a pay as you go model. So based on the consumption, this has been working. I hope it's been clear to you. Any question from anyone? At least you got this concept at least in a top view. Don't worry about backend how this has been working, how this has been configuring. At least end of this class, you need to understand. If you're using a cloud computing, this basically it's working in a kind of a rendered mode. So based on the usage or based on the consumption, this charges or the amount will be paid to you. Clear? Any question from anyone? Rihanna has been saying like clear. Yes. Thank you. Now, if you're good, we'll move to the next part. So I request all the members to comment it on the chat window. So just to ensure that we both are on the same page, in case if I need to explain it again, happy to do that. No questions, okay? Yes, exactly. Yes, thank you. Yes. Now, next, let's move to the next portion of this. Now, how cloud computing has been defined. There is an organization, it's called NIST. NASD is the organization. Now, if someone is asking what is the expansion of this or what is the definition of this, this has been given beautifully by an organization called NIST, National Institute of Standard and Technology. It's a US-based Department of Commerce related this one. So this is beautifully explained how cloud computing is being required. Like what are the components is being needed on a cloud computing. Now, if you go to Google and just type it's called NAST definition. So now you can, if you are taking like NAST definition PDF, you will be able to download it on the cloud computing. So there is a spelling wrong. It's my, now you can able to download a 7-page document. I just pasted on the chat window now. Yes, there is a link has been pasted here. Now, if you are downloading this PDF document, there is a 7-page document you can able to see here. This is a 7-page document. Now, if you go to the page number 6, now if you go to the page number 6, it's called NAST definition and cloud computing. So in the page number 6, it's been beautifully explained how the cloud is being defined here. Now you can able to see here, cloud computing is a model of enabling, is a convenient on-demand network, and it's been working with a kind of a shared model. Now, if I need to call a infrastructure is a cloud computing, it's not that I have some server, this Microsoft is also hosting a server, that is not a cloud computing. It has to meet few requirements. If I need to say a IT model is a cloud computing, it has to meet few requirements. What are the few requirements you have? It's been basically supporting 5 essential characters. That's called on-demand service. Second one is called a broad network access. And another one is called a rapid elasticity or a measured service or a resource pooling. So it has to meet all these characters. What do you mean on-demand service? On-demand service means that whenever I have a requirement, the moment I can able to create a mission, the moment I can able to delete a mission also. Second one, it's been like a resource pooling. I can able to share the resource between each other. Now, another one, it's been like a rapid elasticity or a measured service. Now, rapid elasticity means that, or a measured service, that whenever I have a requirement, rapid elasticity and or a rapid elasticity is generally coming like, I have a requirement, like customer is saying like, hey Ravi, I need, or a Robin, I need additional 4 GB of RAM, or I need a 1 TB of extra hard disk. It's very simple. I need to just go to this portal, in a one click I can able to upgrade my hardware. Now the moment, because if I'm taking an on-premises one, for example, like in your laptop, if you want to add additional RAM, how generally it's been configured, we need to go to the market, we need to purchase a RAM, physically you need to implement it, and the way it was working. Now if you're seeing here, in case if you're using a cloud, in a fraction of minute you will be able to add vertically or horizontally, or you will be able to provision, or you will be able to decommission also, this kind of activities generally do. Now if you're going here, it's generally deployed based on a data center stack. So like you may be a model code service model. Now if you're taking a data center, you may be able to see, if I'm seeing here, I'm just going to the model here. Now if you're taking a data center stack, you had a data application operating system. There are different layers of involvement is here, right? Facility or a network or storage or a compute or hypervisor. There are different layers you are able to see. Now, when you're using a cloud or when you're using a on-premises one, we have a two people who's been involved for providing a IT infrastructure, right? Now, if you're seeing on on-premises one, uh, end-to-end layers like a data or application or a facility, everything was managed by me, right? You may be remembering like on premises, the capex cost or the management of the server or management of a network or a compute or a hypervisor. It's been completely managed by me. But when it you move to a co-location one, uh, this has been completely managed by me up to network and facility, because in a co-location one, you need to understand this was handled by the vendor, right? Because you may be seeing like, in case if you want to expand into a some particular network or a facility, it's been like managed by the vendor, and this was the situation here. Now when it is coming on in a Azure side, depends upon where your involvement is been coming, right? Because you have a data application or operating system or a hardware, or it's been like a storage or a network. Based on what's your responsibility, what cloud provider has been doing, based on that, this has been classified as a three types. It's basically known as ISaaS. This technical term is called infrastructure as a service, and it's been divided as called PaaS, that's called a platform as a service, and you have something called SaaS, it's called software as a service. So it depends upon, if you can see here, uh, there is an X, you can able to see it, depends upon the scope of your work and the scope of the cloud service provider work. This classification is done as a ISaaS or a PaaS or a SaaS. This is the way it's been generally the responsibility has been done. Now when it is coming on the management part or a deployment part, based on how this has been deployed, based on the deployment part, again this has been classified as a three, or it's a four generally I can say. Basically it's known as a, I'm just moving back to the slide. Yes, right now if you can able to see, it's based on how it's been deployed. It's been defined as public cloud, private cloud, or a hybrid cloud, like how you are accessing, how this cloud solution is being configured. Based on that, it's been classified as a public cloud or a private cloud or a hybrid cloud. When it is coming on a based on the responsibility, this is being configured as a SaaS or a PaaS or a ISaaS. This is the activity is been or this the service model is been it's been done. Now when it is coming on a character part, this needs to be available in the 5 character also. So if someone is saying like it's cloud computing, this has to meet all these requirements. It has to be meet all the features, and this has to be configured with any of this service. It has to be either configured as a private cloud or a public cloud, or this has to be configured as a service model if any of this is SaaS or a PaaS or a infrastructure. So any of this model needs to be configured. So this is the way your cloud computing is been defined. Now, end of this class or end of this event, you need to understand NAST is the organization who is been uh, configured or who is been defined a beautiful explanation for cloud computing. Now, in case if I need to use this one, or if I need to say it's a computer, it's a cloud computing, this has to meet five of this character, and this can be configured as a any of this source or a platform or a service model. So this is the way it's been configured. So this is the way the NAST is being defined a cloud computing. Any question from anyone? If you're good, you can able to comment it on the chat window. Now all these slide and the presentation will be uploading very soon. Thank you. Great. Thank you, team. Okay. So thank you, and let's move to the next one. Okay. Where does Office 365 has been found? Yeah, basically that's a good question. Office 365 has been generally Office 365 or a Teams or WebEx. All these products are falling under the software as a service. Now, if you're taking MS 365, now Office 365 has been renamed. Let's be called MS 365, right? So Microsoft 365 that has been considered as a Microsoft, it's a SaaS product. That's called a software as a service. You may be using a Google Drive, you may be using OneDrive, or it's been you may be using a Teams. All this has been considered as a software as a service, where you don't have any kind of a configuration to be done from your side. Or, or simple example is your Netflix, right? All of us are using Amazon Prime Video or a Netflix, a kind of a OTT platform for watching movies, right? How generally it's been working, you need to create an account, and you need to purchase a subscription, right? Now we don't know what is the type of the hardware it's been using on in a back end, right? So based on a subscription you are getting a some particular application or a feature. So that's the point. I hope it's been clear now. So we are on time today. So any questions? So all these slides and recording will be uploaded on the portal. And additional to that, there is a few more documents I'll be sharing over the now that will help you to start your journey on a cloud. And that group will be live. And in case if you have any question related to Azure, you can post it over the. So myself or a Surag or a Kushal will be available to handle this one. Like in case if you need any support, we are there to get definitely we can able to help you on that part. So that. Sorry, can you repeat about a platform as a service? Yes, I can do that. Hustle is basically like there are some situation now you are working as a developer. Now your organization or you're thinking like, no, I don't need to manage anything on in the hardware side. I need some kind of a solution where I can simply make my software development or a package. So that kind of a mode if you're using, then you can able to consider that is kind of a product is called PaaS. That's called a platform as a service. Clear? Now, best example, like if you are taking a Microsoft Azure, there is a service called Azure Bastion service. This is a uh, platform as a service product. Is a Azure Bastion service. So Azure Bastion service is the product you're using. Clear? ISaaS stands for Infrastructure as a Service. Means the complete OS management or the hardware. It's up to a hypervisor level we can able to manage. That's basically known as ISaaS, like the operating system installation or a configuration of a operating system or configuration of IP address or installing additional software or configuring a service inside that. In case if you are using your cloud for this kind of activity, basically that's been considered as ISaaS. Basically, if you're using an ISaaS model, you will be dealing with the compute resource. That's called infrastructure as a service. I hope it's been clear now. So thank you, team. So this is a small event. It's a 2 hour of a session. So we tried to cover a couple of points here, like understanding cloud certifications, and we are given some insights about how the cloud computing is been um, organized or how the cloud computing is been defined. So we are planning to have a similar kind of event in the future. So I hope this event has been really helpful for you to understand this technology or able to start your journey on a cloud. So Surag, is there any feedback from is there? So we can provide that link on the chat.
Sure.
Yeah. And in case if you're not joined the Discord link or a WhatsApp link, WhatsApp group, please join over there. So all the materials will be uploading there, and WhatsApp we are providing live support also. It's been like in case of the guidance we are providing. It's a free of cost. You don't have to pay the things. It's a free community. So request you to use the link right now. It's been shared for the feedbacks, and I hope you enjoyed this session. I know it's been a very short time, and so yeah, thank you, team. So happy weekend and happy Friday. Appreciate all your efforts and time for joining this one. In between, I faced some technical issues, like in between my laptop is it went in a crash mode. It was unexpected, and that's the reason there is some delay happened. So thank you, team. So thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, team. Thank you all. So with that note,
Thank
so yeah, wish you all the best on the cloud transformation. So wish you a great career on the cloud journey, and will be available on that group in case if you any new event is coming. We'll be posting that in case if you have any technical doubt or any guidance is needed on the cloud. Definitely will happy to help you. So once again, thank you everyone and wish you a happy weekend and all the best. With that note, we're signing off and stopping the record. Thank you.